Oh, 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 oh. I can't say it. I can't say it. I can't. I couldn't do it. I was trying to say Mass Effect Speculation Friday, but fuck it, whatever. How's it going, everybody? Bro's tweaking? Oh, hell yeah, for sure. No, I'm not. Why do you say that? How dare you? Uh, there we go. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? How have you been this past week? Are you guys all excited to talk about Mass Effect again? Are you guys very happy to talk about Mass Effect again? Yes, I would assume as much. You're all very happy. Oh, I have something in my hair. There we go. What the hell was that, man? I don't know. I just felt like I needed to start off the stream doing something different. So I was trying to do like a monastery monk thing. Didn't work so well. Anyway, how's it going? Arvos, Fletcher, what's up, guys? Let's go, baby. Oh, yeah, Scornlock. Yeah, I still can't believe Gamble replied to my tweet when I asked him, future or past? Yeah, that was really cool, man. I recognized your name instantly. I was like, oh, shit, it's Scornlock, baby. I thought I was having a stroke. Ha! Fooled ya. The man, the myth, the legend, that is me, guys. That is one creepy intro. I should start like a Silent Hill channel. Might be a good idea. I don't know what it was for, guys. I just, you can always come with some, suggestions for what I should start, like how I should start the streams. You're getting teeth extracted tomorrow, so not so happy. Well, you're getting it fixed, Fletcher. So I'm excited for you. Adam with the 5 gifted. Thank you so much for the support, Absolute Spectre. Appreciate it. And welcome to the Ensvin Squad, everybody who's got a gifted membership right there. Hope you'll enjoy it with the few emotes that we have right now. How are we doing today? I'm doing pretty swell. I'm actually working on the next part of that video I released. It was going to be longer. It was supposed to include that, but I realized that the video got a little bit too long. And it doesn't really work for like some of the content I do here, I feel like, because I want to like package a lot of information in relatively short videos. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go on a, next parter, I guess. Gotta crank out that content, man. How you guys doing? How are we feeling about the past N7 day? Are you guys like super, oh, I'm so satisfied? Or are you like, oh man, that was such a boring N7 day. Where's the gameplay trailer, man? Where's the cool shit? Krogan? I don't care about Krogan. How we doing? Thank you for asking. I'm doing well. Hey, can I get a word about the Krogan and Ket armor? What do you mean, Grifter? Grifter? Just saying good day. I need to go wait to the, oh, damn, lame. All right, see you later. Thank you for checking by. Unfortunately, due to the loss of funds, I will have to end my membership a little while. Formerly Scott Willems, the massive Krant, the unbelievable. Come on, man, how dare you? It's fine, man. Thank you for the support so far. You're welcome back whenever you're ready. Commander Shep with the $2. Always ready to talk anything about Mass Effect. Very nice. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the $2. You made the N7 be exciting, bro. Thank you for saying that, Boxing. I feel like we're in a lack. We're like in a complete lack of excitement, generally speaking, the gaming community. So I was like, let's just, let's try to be happy. Let's try to be excited for once, guys. God damn it. If nobody else is doing it, we gotta create our own excitement, right? We gotta do it ourselves, right? But saying that, gotta say, I was, at the end of the day, I was actually kind of not as satisfied, but I was kind of happy. And we're gonna hop into this right here. Let's go. So, the Krogan. Guys, have you watched my video yet? Have you come to the same conclusion as I did? Because I want to know what you guys think. I want to know how you guys feel. What is your thoughts? Now it's your turn, guys. Bombard me. Tell me what is your conclusion with the Krogan of N70 of my theory. If you've seen it, if you haven't, I'll be very mad at you. No, I won't. I'm kidding, but please do. Glazical, thank you for the one gifted. Appreciate it so much. Hello, Nathan. How you doing? The recent N7A speculation is probably the best they could have done without an actual content. Genuinely great news. Yeah, because they did talk about... I didn't really go through that, did I? Where is it? Where's the thing? Or right, the fact that it's like the TV show is not going to be set in where am I? There we are. There we go. That it's not going to be set in after or well before the Shepard trilogy is not going to be set during. It's going to be set after. So that was really cool to see. I'm just going to do this because the thing isn't working. What the hell? Technology, man. What is this? That was actually a pretty good accent, right? Huh? How's it going, member? No, your name is not member. Am I stupid? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Alex Ramirez, thank you for the 20 months as an N-Sven veteran. And Tommy Farini, back at it again with 50 gifted, man. Absolute Spectre, W's in the chat for Tommy Farini. You know, I'm going to add your name because that is huge. And welcome to the N-Sven squad, everybody who just got a membership here by Tommy Farini. Very beautiful. I think it's an Italian name. Didn't we talk about that last time? There we go. Big Chad. There we go. I think we should call it Big Chad, Tommy Farini. Big credit to you, man. How are you? Thank you for asking. I'm pretty good. I'm doing a thing tomorrow, which is pretty cool. I'm also doing a thing in December that I can't talk about. So a lot of cool stuff is actually happening. Speaking of which, go to Patreon, become a Patreon over on Patreon. Because I'll be uploading some stuff there. Italian surname, right? Yes, I imagined. I think we talked about that last time. Yeah, very beautiful name. Thank you so much for the 50 gifted, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Have you guys come up with any cool theories? Krogans using Reaper technologies. I like that idea. I do think that is an element, because if you look at the guns, you can see this blue weird stuff going on. So I wonder, is that mass relay tech right there? Do they have mass? Well, everything is mass accelerated when it comes to the weapons, but are they super mass accelerated? It does look Reaper glowy though. I'll give you that. The one thing about the show I don't get people being so happy about is being after the game. They will have to canonize still. No? True, Ender. They would probably have to canonize, but at any rate, I think that is what they will have to do. Just realistically speaking, right? I'm not entirely against it myself, but I do understand that there are probably going to be people that are like, excuse me. I've already seen a bunch of people being like, yeah, I don't like that, but personally, it's fine. You know, I just want more Mass Effect. If you can write a good story, I don't give a shit which is canon. I really don't. Like, I love all the No, I don't love all the endings, actually. That's a complete lie. I don't like them at all. But I think they should have probably just ended Mass Effect 3 with one definite ending at the end of the day, because it didn't really work very well. And so for me, I just, you know, it doesn't matter much to me. As long as they can write a good story and make it go like, okay, I'm a Control fanboy, but, you know, Okay, I can see Destroy now, you know. Fletcher with the $5 again, thinking, I want a Krogan spin off like Gears of War led by Rex chainsawing through husks and get. That would be pretty badass. But we're probably going to have to wait until the show, like, really kickstart. Like, if we can get the type of hype that Fallout got from the TV show that added a bunch of new fans to the Fallout franchise, then, yeah, we're probably getting something like that. That would be cool. Silent Flame Man, welcome. What did I miss? Oh, we just started, man. You didn't miss much. Cartomante di Spigoli. Ciao. Bella. Reldy, how you doing with the 32 months? Thank you so much. Welcome to the new recruits. Yes, thank you for writing that, actually, Reldy. Thank you so much. And yeah, welcome to everybody that's new. So we do we think then Galactic Civil War will respect ME3 choice, e.g. Krogan overproduction versus finding out about sabotage? I hope so. My dream is that they actually, in my mind and in my dream, I would say that it's the most logical step forward is to not only have a galactic civil war. I know it kind of doesn't make sense when you really think about it, but wouldn't that just be war? Well, to me, it's galactic civil war because at the end of Mass Effect 3, most species were unified and everybody's like under the Citadel banner. So technically, the galaxy is now one people, kind of, because all of the major powers in the galaxy are now like unified. So in my mind, I would be like, but so technically the Milky Way is kind of like a United Nations or a United States kind of situation, right? A bunch of different peoples, but they're all united. So to me, it's a galactic civil war. I hope they do a thing where we get to deal with Shepard's choices, because I think that goes hand in hand with this idea that people want closure for real from Shepard's story, and I think picking up where like a lot of like where Shepard's choices left off would be a good idea to continue on Shepard's legacy. So maybe the game isn't specifically surrounding Shepard as the protagonist, but you do finish off the things that Shepard started. I think that could be cool because they would like let you finish exactly that chapter, you know, Shepard's journey for real. I think it would be, you know, make a lot of people happy because they're like, oh, it's the final send-off for Shepard, if that's what we need. Then I would still rather the show be about Shepard and crew, to be honest, if they have to canonize either way. I feel, yeah, I've seen a lot of those comments. I actually was one of the people who preferred the First Contact War. I thought that was the most interesting angle they could have gone, but evidently they're not, so... You know, it is what it is. I don't really get what I want. You don't get what you want. We get something kind of in between, I guess, in a way. But yeah, the show will explore a brand new story within the universe's timeline. It will be set after the original trilogy. It won't be a retread of Commander Shepard's story because, after all, that's your story, isn't it? And I would kind of agree with that. I didn't want Commander Shepard as a protagonist for the show because I very much preferred like a different storyline, and there will be, but it will be after Mass Effect 3. So it's like, oh, okay, well, very interesting. Just noticed that Krogan has the Drac Krogan appearance, another Andromeda nod. I don't know. I think this just signifies that this Krogan is probably very old. I'm guessing he's like a veteran. I'm not sure if there's like any lore pieces about specifically like his beard, for example. He does kind of look similar to Drac, but I don't think that's Drac. Let me check for a moment. Mass Effect Andromeda Drac. I mean, technically it could be him, but he doesn't have the same ridges on his head. His are more bulkier. This guy is more like spiky, and they don't have the same eye color. So this guy has red eyes, and Drac has like green eyes. See, I don't think this is Drac. But he does look a little bit similar for sure with the beard. Oh yeah, for sure. The time period for the First Contact War is questionable. You mean like it was very short? I could agree with that. Silent, I'm mostly here to say that I'm getting really checked out by these teases. You are? God damn it. Really thought there would be concrete answers about the game's story to make up for the 2024 getting skipped. I still don't know if this game is going to be a directly post ME3 or MEA. People aren't going to be pleased either way, and I would like to know sooner if I'm one of them, so I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. I wasn't expecting a big trailer or anything, just answers. I feel that. I've seen that reaction as well. I don't blame you at all. I still feel a little bit like pleased because we still got something and a few answers. And it kind of, to me, because I've been theorizing about it so much, it ties together very well with what my view has been, my idea for what it's probably going to be about. But I could see why other people are like, but this wasn't really anything major. To me personally, it's a pretty big thing because I constantly think about it, but I get it, you know, I do. I do wish they could have like done something bigger, but you know, it is what it is. And I know some of you hate that saying, but it really is what it is. I think it's a random Krogan. Also understand the people who were pissed at N7 Day. I do agree they announced the next Mass Effect too early. Yes, true, but also generally when they do this, so let me explain. Like generally when they do this, and I'm not trying to defend BioWare here or something, but whenever they do these big release trailers, right, that they did back in the day, not the release trailers, but the big teaser trailers, right? It's because they want to find people who are interested in working on it, like just marketing that it's happening, you know, maybe getting stock prices up, stuff like that, because EA was publicly traded back then, and just getting people interested and having this project being noticed, and they could like start hiring people. That is generally why they do these kinds of things. So, you know, on one hand, it's kind of disappointing when they haven't really gotten far. It's been 5 years. So, I mean, if you compare that to something like Exodus, for example, which apparently started getting worked on in 2019, and apparently is releasing next year, like they already have been working for like 5-6 years. And so it's like, okay, for Exodus, we actually do have a game coming out. And so when you compare the time frames, it's like, wait, really? It's going to take this long? Then again, Mass Effect is more riding on it because it's, you know, it's based on a trilogy plus like a game set in Andromeda. So they have more stuff to figure out, I would say. But it's still a little bit too long for my liking, especially so we're at an age where, you know, games should actually be produced faster because of the tools that are now in orbit, you know, that people use. We have like Unreal Engine 5 with a bunch of, you know, AI tools that even like Larian says that they're going to use. Not Unreal Engine 5's like stuff, but AI tools in general that will help their devs like make the process less cumbersome and just, you know, do more quality, maybe in less time. So it is like, yeah, I get it. Like when you really think about it, it's like, okay, there could have been a little bit more. And they're still in pre-production. So I'll be fair, yes, it is a little, okay? But still, to me, this little planche here, I thought was pretty cool. I would have liked more, but it is what it is. I feel the First Contact War should have been further in the past than Shepard was born. The XO in the first game talked about his grandfather being in the war. Yes, I don't remember exactly when that was. Had Shepard? No, Shepard hadn't been born yet, right? Or did he? I'm getting my years wrong. I'm trying to remember. Will they finally address Tali Sweatgate in the show? Tali Sweat. Very good question, man. Very good question. Will they answer The Tally Sweat. You know what? It's not impossible. They're probably not, but it would be funny if they did like a reference to it. I would have liked that, because that is like one of the straight up craziest fucking, you know, Mass Effect community, like lore pieces out there. It's crazy. Wonder if Liara will be in the show. Good question. I mean, it is set after the trilogy. Will be set after the original trilogy. So maybe. I mean, it's fully possible considering that if they... Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Why didn't I think of this sooner? You know what's gonna happen? I bet $0 because I don't want to bet money, but I bet fake money in my head that the show will be set immediately after the Reaper War. It will be set immediately after Mass Effect 3. And it will explain what happens until the next game. It's a, yeah, Pyro, it's a TV prequel to the game. Michael Gamble is involved. The guy is there. He's in the, well, he's working on the game. It's gotta be, oh my God, why am I so slow? It's obviously going to be like a prequel to the game. It's gonna explain what happens. Oh my God. It doesn't say that here, but I'm like, it's just, you know, when you really think about it, it's like obvious, you know, because the TV show is probably, how things are looking, the TV show is probably coming out before the game. It definitely is coming out before the game. And if there will be a season 2 and a season 3, well, they've already introduced what happens in the first season. So they can keep going and do like side stuff or like continue on the story. But you know, if they put a baseline with the TV show for season 1, I mean, they can just keep going from there with the game. You play the trilogy, you watch the show, play ME5. Exactly, Nick. Exactly. It makes so much sense. I feel like I'm exploding. Why is it so? Why it's so amazingly simple? God damn it! It's just one of those weeks, you know. This week has been like after. Like doing this theory video first, right? I was like, okay, so what does that mean? So you get lost in the details and you get tired out and you get brain fog, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you kind of lose yourself for a while and then you're back at it again. And now it's like, oh shit, right, of course, obviously. Then the game is even further than we think. Yeah, I think Jeff Grubbs, like his initial speculation was correct. It's probably like a 2028, 2029 release. Because TV shows, they go pretty fast nowadays, right? So let's say that the Mass Effect show starts getting filmed like early next year, let's say. Like it's going to be out in like 2027 because that's how fast a lot of these shows get made, right? I wish things went as fast for like Mass Effect or like the game. But they can't delay much after the TV show. Maybe. So maybe it's like a TV show is getting out in 2027 and then immediately after that we get the release in 2028. That would make sense. There's no room for choices in TV shows. True. Very true. Well, they didn't they do that thing in Black Mirror where you could choose something? I never did, but I heard that was a thing. So, but then again, I don't think they're gonna like introduce that. It's gonna be like a specific story. That's just gonna be like, you know, like the Fallout show. Hopefully, like you know, it's set somewhere in between, and you're like, oh, okay, that explains it. Bronwyn, welcome, man. How you doing? The show starts with Shepard breathing and the squad looking for him around the Reaper remains and debris. I don't think so, Mad Gabe. I don't think so. I think it's probably going to start with something entirely different because, as he says here, won't be a retread of Commander Shepard's story because blah blah blah. So I don't think Shepard is going to be in it at all. Black Mirror Bandersnatch did that indeed. Yeah, that was the thing, right? I didn't see it, so I don't know, but yeah, I heard about it. Imagine if they had Paragon and Renegade choices at the end of episodes for us to vote on. It would be pretty amazing, Alex. Absolutely, that would be amazing. I would love that. Still, though, I think it's too much for their budget to do, probably. I don't know, maybe they have a giant budget, because, I mean, it is Amazon that's involved here, publishing it. The show has to canonize something, yes. To me, it's crazy that the first something in canon after M3, it's a show and not a game. Yeah, a little bit, but you know, who knows? Maybe the game comes out before the show. In that case, it's probably not a prequel, or it still could be. But you know, you never know. It's like, okay, there's a bunch of things still up in the air, I guess. Josh, Mr. Rolton, what sort of theories are you cooking, bro? Well, I did release a theory just the other day. I have another one that's the part 2 of it that explains the Andromeda connection, because there is gonna be an Andromeda connection, and I know some of you aren't fans of Andromeda, and I'm not really a fan either, but there will be a connection, and you know, they're gonna include it somehow. They're not gonna straight up ignore it, mainly because we have seen evidence that they're not gonna ignore it. So you gotta ask yourselves, hey, what is the actual connection here? I'll give you a teaser. If you've seen my latest video on Patreon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you haven't already, well, you can always become a Patreon member over there. But to give you a teaser, essentially, I think Andromeda is gonna be set up in this game. I don't think this game will specifically revolve around Andromeda. I think this game will specifically revolve around the events after Mass Effect 3. Like something blah, 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 blah is going on with the galaxy and the Milky Way, and it's going to lead into a redemption arc, I think, for the Andromeda storyline. Because that is the only way you can do this, right? You have to build a good story first, and then slowly bring something back in if you still want to have that element in your story. And I think there is a way to make it work. There is definitely a way to make it work. But again, you know, they got to pull it off and make it palatable for people again, I guess. The ending has to be chosen now because of the TV show timeline. There's no argument anymore. Canon ending is confirmed. I can't guarantee that that's the case, but I would say it's looking like that. Yes. If in production means in development, it might be a 2027 release, since that's a 2-year development time. Well, what did he actually say here? The truth is, the last few years have been incredibly busy time at BioWare, but currently the team is heads down and focused exclusively on Mass Effect. We have a lot of universe to cover, lots of features to build, and lots of romances to figure out. We're excited by what we're building, and we promise you when we're ready, it'll be a lot of fun to show. Till then, thank you for your patience, because y'all are thirsty for news. Yeah, I see you looking for secret meaning in my tweets. Okay, blah. Beyond the next game, there's blah. Okay, the writer's room, blah. He didn't say much about it being, like, in production, right? Because if they say in production, that could mean that it's no longer in pre-production, but I still think it is in pre-production. If the unknown N7 character is Conrad, I'm all for it. Me too, man. Conrad Werner makes an epic return. Continuing the well-respected legacy of one Commander Shepard. Yeah, I really don't speak only. I don't really think the next game will focus that much on Andromeda. I think it's going to be about like building trust. I think. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, let's do this as a thought experiment. Like, what do they need to do? What does BioWare need to do? Right. I'm gonna add one more texty thing here. Boom, boom. So this is the first step BioWare is going to have to do for the next game. And so the question is, okay, how do they rebuild trust? Well, they make a good game. And primarily, you know, to rebuild that trust, you need the OG fans back, right? They've been trying to sell people a lot on the fact that there are veterans back at the team. They're going back to the Milky Way. Has to do something post the Reaper War. Like, they want to bring the OG fans back because that's the baseline. That's the flooring. That's the pillar. Your pillar community needs to come back. And that is the first step. You need to rebuild trust and bring people like the OG people back. Then, of course, deliver. Step 2, they need to deliver a good story. You know, it's not just about building trust from the get-go, it's about actually delivering on the content itself. They have to deliver a good story, they have to deliver good characters, good gameplay, just a really solid ass game. That is pretty much, I'm gonna say, some of you are not gonna like this, but The Force Awakens was a pretty good, you know, nostalgia trip, but it was also like the start of a new chapter. It actually made a lot of people, Star Wars fans, super excited for the future, and then, you know, shit didn't really go as they wanted as time went on, but The Force Awakens was a good, exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. And I saw a lot of people, not just younger people, but older people be like, oh, okay, this is, you know, this was a solid movie. It wasn't the best movie ever made, but it was pretty cool. They need to have like a moment like that that brings people back. That's like, okay, this kind of honors what we've seen before. And even if you're not a fan of Force Awakens, it's still like, you know, we're still trying to bring people, like the OG people back. I mean, Han Solo, yes, Leia, you know, all that good stuff. Luke Skywalker at the end. Weird ending though. But yeah, they dropped the ball. The Force Awakens was a good start. It actually was a solid start. And if you were there when it happened, when it released, you know that's true. You know it to be true. At any rate, I don't want to focus so much on Force Awakens, but there are other examples of franchises where you go back and you bring some nostalgia, but you also do some new stuff. Like you just, you know, okay, you're putting things here and there. You're planting seeds. You're making something interesting again. And then when you deliver, which they would have to do with this next game, that's step 3 is redemption. That is when you bring back the things that didn't really work, because they're obviously doing that. We have seen that they've teased Andromeda. So in order to do that, they will have to first fish in the people that were like the original fans from the start, the baseline, right? Andromeda comes after they've actually delivered on making sure that like most of the OG fans are happy and that they're invested again, and they want to marry it somehow with the Milky Way galaxy storyline. And the only way to really do that is not a straight up sequel to Andromeda. That's just straight up catastrophe. You're asking for trouble if you're just going to start up making Andromeda 2. Most people don't want Andromeda 2. Do you guys remember so much shit the game got on release? Yes, there has been a steady flow of people like coming back and be like, oh, okay, it wasn't that bad. But still, it like a lot of people just refuse to play it because they didn't have a good experience the first time around. So in order to make that work, if you want Ryder back, all those people back, you're gonna have to make this game about the thing that people actually cared about first, right? Makes sense. Only after that, that's when you bring it back. And that's why I think the game is gonna lead into an Andromeda storyline that I think could be pretty fucking rad. I'ma tell you that. I think they can do it. They just need the real, like the build up, the correct build up again. They need the fans back, the OG fans, the Andromeda fans see something and they're like, oh shit, it's happening. They could do something like that, but still they need to lay the groundworks for something that actually works well together with it. And of course, yeah, Andromeda combat. Yeah, I know that is one element. You could say, oh, but they're just, that's just what they mean with these teasers. It's the Andromeda combat. I think it's more, definitely more than that. But yeah, let's see what you guys have to say, because I started rambling a lot there. Yeah, Silent. There's been a lot of talk about the 600 years into the future, and I think that makes sense in a way. Do I love it? No, not really. But looking at the things we've seen, yeah, kind of makes sense with what we've seen. Make it mature, take risks. Don't make it like the last Dragon Age. They definitely need to make it much more mature. For sure. Just mainly in tone. And of course, the adult stuff as well. And I think they're going to do that, I think they're going to go really dark on it, because that's just, most of us are adults here. We're grown-ups. We want to see a grown-up game that has a really dark tone, that has a lot of shit going on, a lot of various elements that make you go, oh, this is not looking good for people. There's a reason why Game of Thrones was like the biggest show ever. Breaking Bad won so many awards. Like, shows that are like super dark are generally more, that are more serious, but still, you get it. Good evening, Marcus. Can someone drop the link to the Discord? The one in the description is invalid. That link is invalid because it's for a reason. I will maybe make Discord like available generally to the public again, but I've seen a bunch of bots and shit like that, so that's why it's like inactive. So you can't really currently invite someone. Sorry, man. At some point, we'll get that back going. When there's a way to actually get rid of bots that come in every now and then. A lot of Andromeda's problems was engine issues and outsourcing. Kind of, yes, among a few other things. It's a mixed bag. I'm not going to get into exactly everything. But I did enjoy my first playthrough of it when I played it. But then I started realizing that a lot of things were missing. It didn't feel really super fulfilling when I really thought about it. And, the more I thought about it, the less I liked it. And so it's interesting. Is Andromeda worth playing? If you haven't played the trilogy, I would say try it. But don't do it after you've played Mass Effect 1, 2, 3. I would probably say you should probably play it before. It might spoil you a little on what happens in the trilogy, but I think it's kind of night and day, actually, quality-wise. I think at least parts of the game will take place right after the trilogy. If not, why would Liara assume the current council would remember human defiance? That is actually a good point, Sparagmos. That is actually a really good point, because, yeah, how, Asari lived for, 1,200, 1,300 years? I think it's somewhere around that span. So that would mean that somebody on the council at least knows that, human defiance is still a thing. So yeah, but I still think like 600 years still makes sense in that case. It doesn't have the same vibes, true. It's kind of different in that way. It's not necessarily like the same feeling when you play these, Andromeda versus like Mass Effect 1 and stuff. You can play it even after the trilogy. It's a solid game, but just not as good as the trilogy. Yeah, so the problem is that when you play it afterwards, you're gonna, I think you're gonna compare it much. I've seen a lot of people say this actually, that actually played Andromeda first, that after they played, after they played the Andromeda first, they generally liked it, and then they played the trilogy, they liked that even more, and so it's like a curve that goes like this, It's like a steady curve. It's like, oh, this was good, oh, this is even better, oh, this is even better, oh my god, this is amazing, right? Instead of, oh, this is amazing, and then like, oh, okay, that wasn't really as good, Because I think that is the main problem with Andromeda. It is a step down, but, So I think it's a reverse thing. You have to like start at the end, kind of. It would be awesome to see the Andromeda Galaxy and the Milky Way crew join forces for the new big bad. I think there is something like that happening. I have a feeling that there's something like that happening. This game, I don't think is gonna be about that though. I don't think the first game is gonna specifically be about an Andromeda threat. I think is going to be centered on the Milky Way, and it's going to lead into Andromeda towards like maybe the last 10% of the game somewhere. I think it's going to be one of those situations where they build it up slowly, where like it is one part of the whole specific storyline. Actually, fuck it, let's just do it. Okay, whatever, I'm just gonna do this instead. Okay, so if you haven't if you have seen my previous video, my lore video on this entire situation, I talked about, and now I don't think I have the footage here to show you, but essentially I'm kind of spoiling my next video, so if you're watching here, that's great, awesome, but you're free to watch the video later on either way. I think I've talked about this before as well. I don't necessarily think that we broke him. You broke the lock. No, I just don't want to leave people out. And if you can't wait for the video, then here you go. I don't think this thing is necessarily evil Cerberus. Okay? I don't think that Michael and the team would show us something so obvious as the main villain again just being Cerberus, because we have like orange, we have white, we have black, right? I know I kind of lead on with that idea when I talk about it in my theory video, but that's not what I'm trying to say. I think I missed that detail. I think that Cerberus is probably not the villains. That would be way too obvious. I think Cerberus is somehow working together with humanity and other races to build this thing. I don't think really that this is a super weapon. It might work as a super weapon later on, but I think mainly the reason this is getting built is because of... Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'm just going to move this little thing. There we go. Andromeda distress signal detected. We know this happens, and we know this happened in the teaser. There's an Andromeda distress signal detected, and it's connected to the audio transcript. Although they should know by now not to underestimate human defiance, is what Michael says on Twitter, that she says it's defiance. Human defiance. We go back to this thing, and this is the footage. This is the video that Liara is talking over. And it's, as we see, it's a relay. Now, Bon Diesel, a pretty cool guy on Twitter, he actually pointed out that this MR7 right here, it doesn't necessarily have to mean mass relay, because that is something that Michael Gamble previously pointed out before in the, I think it was BioWare 25 book, when there was concept art of this relay. He said something along the lines of, that seems to suggest that this is not a mass relay. So what is it? Well, MR7, this thing has a captain. We talked about this before. This thing has a captain. It has apparently a Quarian captain that is married to a human, because this person shares the same name as a human, like Jillian Jones, Subnavark, ba. So this is a Quarian or a human that is married to a Quarian or a human. At any rate, this is a ship, and it is a relay, because we see the circle, right? It says spinning. Well, it's not spinning here, but they're constructing a spinning circle. This is a big relay of some kind, but MR7 does not have to mean mass relay 7. It could mean mobile relay. Oh my God, we got it right there, baby. Look at that. Mobile relay. I think that is probably what this is. It's a ship, but it's called the mobile relay because it can move around. It can fly. It's a mass relay ship, but it's a mobile relay. That's what it's going to be called, I think. We even have like landing bays here. You see that little outline I did there? Those are landing bays. Mass relays don't have landing bays. They just spin shit up and go because they were made by Reapers, right? They were already there. So they are already creating, landing base on this thing. So it is a ship. They fly now. They fly now. This motherfucker right here is a mobile relay. And I'm gonna tell you what is gonna happen. I bet you imaginary $1 million what is gonna happen. This thing is being created through a nice guy Cerberus, probably like a Cerberus that is reimagined by Miranda, possibly like restructuring it, because they're obviously going to like canonize stuff. So it's probably going to be like Miranda, who has made Exodus a force for good. It's still a humanity-centric thing, but for the right reasons, right? They're working together with other species. For example, this this Quarian captain. They're gonna use this because here, okay? Spoiler for my next video. This thing right here, this thing right here, this Andromeda distress signal detected. This little footage right here of this person walking here, this N7, who we don't know it is, if it's Shepard or if it's somebody else. At any rate, this person just hacked a terminal that is belonging to the Alliance because, of course, it's secondary encryption detected. We go to this one. It says classified review briefing materials on official Alliance comms channels. This person hacked into the system, found the Andromeda distress signal. Liara, in this footage, okay? In this footage, how did we miss this? She says. She missed the Andromeda distress signal. They didn't know about it. She is the shadow broker. Liara Tassoni is this shadow broker. She should not have missed this. That's why she's sounding so shocked, because she missed something she's not supposed to. Something is going on here. She intercepts this Andromeda distress signal, and this person somehow finds it, hacks into it, whatever, this agent that's probably helping her. I don't think it's a hostile agent. I think it's something else or somebody else. They're gonna use this relay, this thing, this mobile. Remember again, MR7 is probably not mass relay, it's probably mobile relay 7. They're gonna use this. Imagine this, okay? They're gonna use this. They're gonna pause. They're gonna use this. They're going to use this by sending it through another mass relay. They're going to use this thing, just put it right next to a mass relay. That's because it's not as big as the other mass relays. It seems like it's not as huge. They're going to send this thing through a mass relay at the edge of the galaxy, right? They're going to move one relay, as we've seen the Geth do, with their Geth telescope. They're going to shoot this motherfucker right here to another galaxy, because it's a mobile relay. Why would they do that? Well, because, again, it's a mobile relay. They can then create a two-way street, a mass relay tunnel, because that is generally how mass relays work. They have to be connected to one other, because otherwise the risks are huge because you don't have it connected to anything. They're going to slingshot this across dark space to the other end, to Andromeda, and they're going to create a tunnel. That's how you're going to connect these two, and they're going to save the Milky Way galaxy, the Milky Way species, or the Milky Way people are going to save the Andromeda folks over there, because guess what? At the end of Andromeda, we see this Ket general, or whatever they're called. They're like a, they're not the left or right or hand or lieutenant to the Archon, but they were there to keep track of him. And he was breaking off from the Ket Empire, right? They are probably closing in on the Andromeda folks, i.e. explaining the Andromeda distress signal, probably the Andromeda people that are sending that. So they're going to be saved by, a group of people like Liara, everybody else. And they're going to create a two-way street, send people back home to the Milky Way. But, and herein lies the issue, by doing this, you're going to open a gateway to the Ket Empire, the rest of the Ket Empire. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was not a fan of the Ket. I don't like them as villains. I think the Archon was a lame villain. But we didn't see the rest of the Ket people. If they could rewrite them, make them more interesting, make them more terrifying, we see the full scope of them. This could mean not just a galactic civil war, but a galaxy versus galaxy situation. There we go. That is how you create it. That is how you do it. You need to, yeah, exactly. You need to rewrite the Ket, and you need this sort of redemption arc, not just for them, but for the entire story arc. But this is how you do it. You make them an overwhelming threat, but you also make the Milky Way people the main focus again, right? This makes too much sense. You gotta agree. Constable, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. What are the chances that the N7 agent is some sort of Black Ops agent that operates outside of political and military jurisdiction? It is possible that it is an N7 agent that is actually working for Liara, but it is an N7 agent. So it's a double agent. I think it's a double agent of some kind. They are an N7, but they actually, because, why is an N7 hacking into the Alliance? Because they're part of the Alliance. Because they're working for Liara. That's why. That's why. That's why, baby. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. Tell me I'm wrong here. Doesn't this make perfect fucking sense? Right? They have teased, let's go by the assumption that they are going to include Andromeda in some way. So what would be the best way to do that? You center the first game around solving galactic conflicts and stabilizing the galaxy, because the galaxy is going to be fucked 3 ways from Sunday, or whatever you say, if they don't figure shit out before the Ket arrive. Missing that tinfoil hat? No, I'm not putting that on again. That's way too warm. That's way too hot. What if they do some quantum entanglement thing to where the end of the trilogy and the Andromeda link up? I assume that's a theory from who was it that talked about that? No, I don't think so. I think that's way too Marvel-y. I'm sorry to say. I think that's way too quantum and like connecting it almost like, it seems a little forced, don't you think? Like having the Andromeda squad with Ryder show up at the same timeline as Shepard. Meanwhile, they're supposed to be 600 years apart, because that is what the time took to get to Andromeda. And I feel like writing-wise, I'm just going to say it feels lazy. I'm not a big fan of time travel. There was, You know, the only reason I was fine with it in Endgame was because it was Endgame, right? And I like movies like Back to the Future, right? But I think it's overused. I think it's lazy. So I don't like that idea. But just because I don't like it, it doesn't mean that it's not possible, right? So, could be possible. I'm not going to say no, because even if I don't like it, doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. Hear me out, but what if the remnant in Andromeda are hyper-advanced descendants of the Geth who left the Milky Way after the Morning War? Maybe. That would be pretty cool. But they were didn't they say that the remnant were actually just created by the Jardan? Right? Who knows? Maybe they were gonna like rewrite it or something. Hi, honey. Welcome. Endgame didn't even follow its own time travel rules, so there's a lot of missteps there. Yeah, I think the problem is that by introducing that, the main reason why I don't like time travel plots is because you get usually a lot of plot holes and things that don't make sense. And it can be cool, but generally the delivery on like what happens at the end is not as impactful as I want it to be, because it's like, oh, it just solved with time travel. Whoopsie day. You know, it's like, it's not super interesting. I prefer like a straight line, you know, this leads to this, leads to this, and you know, down the line, this is what happens. So I think this idea, not specifically because, you know, that's what I like have dreamed up, I just think it makes sense. Like, you know, timeline wise, it's like, oh, this leads to this and this leads to this, and that makes sense, and you move to this, and then you end up in Andromeda somehow. Yeah, time travel is very hard to keep in order. BioWare doesn't need that headache right now. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's too complicated, honestly. And I don't think they're gonna do things way too complicated for this game. I think complicated in terms of like plot line, where it comes like character development and stuff like that, and intriguing plot lines, but I don't think they want to do too much, oh, time travel here and blah blah blah, because they do want to have something that makes sense, right? Same reason why I overall dislike multiverse type of concept. Yeah, Nick, same here. I don't love multiverse stuff because it's like, oh, but okay, but even if everybody died here, well, there's another planet full of the same people that are just copies of them. So it's like, you know, it can work in certain cases, but generally no. I prefer a straight, like, logical storyline that like just follows naturally. Who was the Jardan fighting for them to use the Scourge? I think, didn't they say that it was the Ket Empire, or will they infer that it is the Ket Empire? Again, like, I really hope that if they do bring the Ket back, that they manage to, like, make them scary. Because that was the main thing with the Ket that I found, like, disappointing. Is that they just aren't scary at all. And it's like, maybe their reproduction, you know, the way that they're kind of, like, forcing themselves, like, they're forcing people into becoming one of them. Sort of like the Reapers, but not. I think that's kind of creepy, but the design of them, their behavior, the fact that the Archon was just a power-hungry little bitch, like there was nothing imposing about them at all. And I think that is the main thing. You know, they need to make the Kets imposing and scary. That's kind of my main reason as to why I'm not looking forward to Exodus as much as others. Time dilation shouldn't be an issue in a universe as advanced as the one in Exodus. Well, here's the thing, Kitsune. In Exodus, it's not about traveling back in time, because you literally can't. It's about traveling forwards in time, because that's how the universe works. that is why I like Exodus so much, is because time dilation is actually real. You know, if you the faster you travel, or the closer to the speed of light you travel, the faster you're going to, or the slower, wait, faster or slower, you're gonna experience time relative to somebody else, because that is just how things work. I like that aspect a lot with Exodus, because it doesn't introduce this idea that, oh, you can just go back and do things again. No, it's, if you do this, you will see some huge consequences down the line, because you're gonna travel around and then you're gonna be back, and it's gonna be like hundreds of years into the future, and they're like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. That's why I feel like it's gonna be a huge thing, because it's not time travel, it's just time dilation. It's like, it's a real universe phenomenon that I think is gonna be really cool to see. The question, of course, is like, how are they going to deliver on that? Is that going to be like a thing where you can freely go somewhere, or is it just, you know, chapters in the story? Elias, welcome, but I do get what you're trying to say. On the other hand, I would say it's the opposite, because it's, you know, it's actually a thing. I just want to see proper playable closure to ME3 beyond its glorified slideshow ending. Let me build Tally her house and then either start the new story as Shepard, or hand the torch off to a new playable character. To a new player character. Yeah, so again, like, you hit the nail on the head with something that people always talk about in every Mass Effect community, and that is closure, or the lack thereof. And I think, especially with the reaction that Mass Effect 3 got back in the day, that, and people still get when they're playing Legendary Edition, is that there is a distinct lack of feeling like this chapter is really closed. They did do a better job of it with the extended cut that they introduced back in, what was it, 2012 to 2013. But I think that feeling has echoed through the years, that there is closure that wasn't there. And so they need to do something to bring that into fruition, like give people proper closure. Because, you know, people still play the trilogy. It's not like everybody stops playing the trilogy. So you still have people feeling that loss of closure. So you still want that chapter, I think, where you can go like, okay, now you feel satisfied. What's the word, guys? What's the word for when you're satisfied with the story? God, what is that called? You're late? Oh, no worries, Sultan. Welcome, welcome. Rex the Grunt, as a one-off accident, time travel is barely tolerable. As an actual plot device, horrible. A lot of the time, yeah. Content? No. It's a specific word. It's very philosophical. What's it called again? Shit. No. There we go. There we go, Arvus. You got it, man. You got it, man. There we go. This word, catharsis. Catharsis, right? The process of releasing and thereby providing relief from strong or repressed emotions. You need catharsis, right? That is what we want. Knowing and feeling that the chapter is truly over, that you are satisfied with the ultimate end result. I don't like bittersweet. Because generally speaking, that leaves that feeling, that hollow feeling of not getting catharsis. And in a game about a trilogy where you make choices, there was a distinct lack of catharsis. This feeling, you know, when you've dealt with something, when you have a lot of emotional baggage, and then you're like, ah, right? That. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm trying to say here? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes. Gratified? Kind of. Kind of. Cyberpunk 2077, where all the endings are bittersweet and depressing. I know, but it is one game. Mass Effect 1, 2, 3 is a series of games where you make a lot of choices and you want a sufficient outcome that takes all of your choices into consideration. And when that wasn't delivered, you did not get catharsis. I'm not saying that like Cyberpunk 2077 isn't a good game now. It is, but the endings are still kind of you know. I think the one ending that is kind of still depressing, but still kind of gave me catharsis, that is the one where V actually gets to live. Sorry for spoiling, but that is the one, you know, in Phantom Liberty. Yes, they lose everything, but they become like they get to live. You know, my V that I care about, they get to live as a normal, regular ass person. Sure. Give them another shot at life. Absolutely. That's kind of catharsis to me. Where's the catharsis for the crew when it comes to Shepard? Very true. Where's the catharsis for that, you know? What happened to Shepard? What happened to Shepard? What happened to the crew, man? We need to know all those things for sure. So it's not that I'm not a fan of bittersweet stuff. It's not that I'm not a fan of bad endings. But when it comes to something that, like to a storytelling epic, you do kind of want like not a happy ending maybe, but like still like a conclusive relief. Do you think the Krogan Civil War can be a part of wider conflict within Citadel space and between conservatives, forget his name, and Erdnot Rex? It could be, for sure. But still, I think the main reason why they're fighting in this, right, is because somebody is making them. Somebody is sabotaging. So if we want to go back to what I was trying to say with my first video that I released this week, is I think somebody is trying to sabotage. Somebody's trying to make these races fight each other again, like the Krogan are fighting the Krogan as they usually do, like the clans, right? But then we have the poster, right? The poster, I think, together with the Civil War poster is the dead giveaway. Because here we see like an actual impact crater. Something violent happened here. And there is a Quarian body and there's a Geth body. And I think that gives it away in telling us that they have been attacked somehow, either by other Quarians, either by other Geth. Most likely because honestly, somebody is sabotaging and staging an attack. So I think this is a staged attack. I don't actually think that they're fighting again. I think somebody's trying to stage a conflict between them. Just like we see with the Krogan, you know, they're fighting each other again. So there's something fishy going on here. But I don't actually think it's Cerberus, because that would be too obvious to figure out. It's like, oh, orange, white, and black, you know, with the relay thing. I don't think that they're the evil bad guys anymore. I think what's going on here is probably something more similar to a mysterious new type of force, maybe, or maybe another force that we've seen before comes back and starts messing things up. That would make a lot of sense. Maybe not as exciting, but, or it's like a completely new opposing force. Jarakart the Leviathan. I think that kind of makes sense in a way, you know, as long as they don't give it away that, oh, they're controlling things behind the scenes. But it will make sense. It will make sense. Red Scare with the 2 months. Thank you for being a member. Appreciate it. And thanks for the support. So yeah, the Leviathans for sure, man. They could be an element, absolutely, but they, again, have to do something where they don't lead it in. so it's not too obvious, because again, we would be retreading old ground, kind of, with the Leviathan, right? Because we've already not faced them, but we've dealt with them before. On a storytelling level, it makes sense. It definitely does make sense. I mean, they were the gods of the galaxy before the Reapers came into the picture. They were worshipped. They were adored by every other galaxy, like galactic species. They were, you know, they were the gods, essentially, of the galaxy. And so they control people through mind control, actually. And they use these balls, right? Balls. These spheres, right, to control people. And so maybe it's through the Leviathans that we're getting this conflict, because they are manipulating and controlling the Krogan into starting their fights. Why would they do that, though? You might be asking, okay, but why would the Leviathan do that? They were the good guys, right? They helped us. I mean, they were worshipped. They were the benevolent gods of the galaxy. And they probably want that seat back. And the best way to do that, because there are not many of them, is from the shadows. You know, just mind control people. Leviathan balls, where? Hey, Zach, welcome, my brother. Didn't the husk glow blue in some form, which gives credence to the Reaper tech or even forced indoctrination long after the Reapers were destroyed? That is the million-dollar questions. Will they be, do the Reapers still, indoctrinate after they've been destroyed? That's a big one that I keep, thinking about. Shepard, I shall mind control the galaxy using my balls. Exactly. Mommy. God damn it, guys. They clearly said that they are the epic species and always will be. Yeah, that is also a dead giveaway. They're like, oh, we're better than you. We always were. We always will be. They essentially tell, the strongest, human in the galaxy that... You know, they're really not screwing around. They probably want that power back. So, I mean, I do think that the Leviathan is still likely because they haven't shown anything with the Leviathans. They're just showing these teases that they're a fight is starting in the galaxy again, but we don't know who is starting it. So, I mean, they are technically working from the shadows. God damn it. Divide and conquer from the shadows, that can happen for the Leviathans? Absolutely, because at the end of the day, what are they going to do after every species has started fighting and everybody's weakening each other? Well, they're going to come in here and they're going to be like, guys, chill, we got this. We got this. You guys just need to listen to what we have to say. They're going to be, coming in here like used car salesmen and be like, hey, listen to us, guys. We know the solution. We have the solution. You just gotta listen to us. Yeah, I actually think that's likely. You guys are on this goddamn ball thing. You guys and your balls. Throw a levitation on top of the planet ends civil war. Yeah, I mean, just seeing... I think the crazy thing is with the Leviathan, if they actually look like this in the next game and they show up again, that thing, appearing in the skies over a world again would make everybody collectively shit their pants because they're like, oh, fuck, the Reaper's back. And so everybody would immediately stop fighting. It would be the unifying moment again. They're like, oh, we're here to save you. Ah, stop firing. New stuff on the news side? No. That was the most recent one. That was N7 Day, which wasn't much, but it was a little bit. Damn, the ads have gone completely bonkers lately. It's every 4 minutes. Not quite as bad during live streams, but still. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't control when YouTube starts adding ads. I could turn it off, but if I do that, I'm not going to make anything from this live stream. So you got to do what you got to do. But I do agree that the ad situation has got to gotten quite out of hand, honestly. But if you guys become more Patreons over on Patreon, maybe I can start shutting it off. Woohoo, yippee. Leviathans, yeah, you guys, it didn't work out so well last time, but this time, trust us. Yeah, essentially like that. But honestly, I think that it's going to be something new. I don't think it's going to be the Leviathans, really. I think this is going to be a new threat that is maybe, I haven't really thought this through yet, but it's possible that it could be somebody who's in league with the Ket somehow. That could make a lot of sense. But on the other hand, you don't actually have to write it like that, because if you were going to go on that, like, you know, that theory that I just proposed that, oh, the Ket is going to be the bad guys in the next game after this one, you don't necessarily need to have the Ket be like in leagues with someone in the Milky Way. You can just have it be like a situation is happening in the Milky Way with a bad guy, and then in the next game after that, you lead into, oh shit, you know, it's a good thing we actually figured this out because now they are here, you know. Dark matter or the dark energy plot, maybe, but still, I think that they still need like a solid villain. I still think they need somebody that you can actually be like, yeah, fuck this guy. Something like that, right? Something that you can almost like grab onto. What do you think about Liara becoming a counselor? Shadow Broker with Spectre Axis might explain how she is mad at the council too. That wouldn't surprise me. Sure, I could see that happening. That would be pretty cool, you know, having these 3 positions of power, and she's like, oh, you know, they're really the spider in the web. But I do wonder, why would she be surprised though? Maybe the Alliance hid the Andromeda signal. That would be very interesting if they did that, you know. Andromeda distress signal detected, so we know it's connected to the Alliance. It's information that the Alliance has already gotten, so why would they hide that? Maybe they already know what's going on over there. Very interesting. Gonna be really hard to top the Reapers. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Anything they do really is going to be difficult because the Reapers are so... They were such an overwhelming presence and such a scary threat. They are like the White Walkers in Game of Thrones, right? They're this presence. They're this thing that is, you know, coming at some point. And you can't really stop them, but you still do through an Deus Ex Machina, essentially, both through in Game of Thrones, I feel like, and here. Maybe not in Game of Thrones, really, but it was badly executed. God damn it, Arya? You fucking serious? It was Jon Snow's moment, man. What the hell? Essentially, the White Walkers and the Reapers are essentially the same. And so it's like, oh, what can they do now, right? What should they do now? In terms of villains, because you need something that is at least comparable or interesting in another angle. What do you think about the Benefactor? Could they be important in the story? Not immediately, no, because I genuinely don't think that the game will be about Andromeda in the first part. Again, I think it's going to lead into Andromeda through the ending. And so the Benefactor could possibly be the villain after this first game. So I could see that, yes, because the Benefactor is like this mysterious individual. We don't know much about them, but they keep sabotaging shit over in Andromeda. And so like, okay, so they're gonna have to deliver that at some point. They are a mysterious individual. I do want to know. I think the Benefactor is actually an interesting detail that I want to know. I think they've actually managed to pull something cool there, is that people are actually, even people that are not fans of Andromeda, they're still like, but who is the Benefactor, right? What do they want? What are they doing? They're obviously up to no good, so maybe they're the ones in cahoots with someone in the Milky Way? Did you know you're supposed to put salt in your hot chocolate? No, you're not. Stop lying. Dark Souls PS3. Dark Souls 2 PS3. I don't think so. Don't do that, guys. Don't do. That's probably dangerous. Imagine the Scourge from EA. Mass Effect Andromeda ate away most of the new galaxy, and that's where there is a new relay being built to bring back the ones we sent there. Milky Way is still recovering, and bam, Krogan Civil War. Still, though, you know, I keep thinking about, like, how would that tie together? Mr. Holton is the benefactor. I was always the benefactor. It was always me, all along. It's Liara using a relay they already had there. Nah, I don't know. Nah. That's why there needs to be a pace to the narrative. The Reapers were so big on the power scales, the next game needs to scale back to breathe. That's why I like the idea of a more character study story where there's not really a super big bad. Yeah, I think that's why I think like a civil war brewing between the various factions is kind of cool, because then you don't really have to deal with a huge massive threat like the Reapers immediately, or like dimensional aliens or things like that. But you know, you could probably deal with that later. But for now, I think solving conflicts and dealing with maybe a minor villain, albeit like shadowy type figure that is ruining and sabotaging things, kind of like Cerberus, but they're not Cerberus. I think that would work really well, just to reset the storyline again, sort of make you not expect a big thing. And then they lead into Andromeda and put up this, oh shit, okay, it is a bigger thing now, you know, give you a breather. I super agree with that. You don't need a galactic ending threat right now. No, definitely not. Like, restart it. Start with like galactic conflicts surrounding the galaxy, and you deal with a lot of drama, a lot of interpersonal conflicts, kind of like Mass Effect 2. And they don't make this big deal really out of like Andromeda's situation until like later in the story. Maybe they lead up to it slowly, but mostly the game is like constructed surrounding like fixing the Milky Way right after the Reaper War, fixing these conflicts and talking to people and maybe shooting them, and you know, if you need to, stuff like that, right? Feel like the benefactor is someone from Cerberus and Illusive Man funded them. Possible, but again, I think Cerberus is one of those villains I don't think they're gonna retrace again, because we've already dealt with them for 3 games, technically. Well, the first game, and then the second game, there are allies, and then the third game, so they're like a major presence, right? I think they could definitely be a presence here, but I think it's too obvious to make the relay here be in that coloration and to essentially give away that, oh, okay, so it's just Cerberus again, right? That's not very interesting. You gotta agree with that. That's just not super exciting. So I would say that they're probably not having the role that we're used to seeing them as, you know? They're probably different in some way. Again, I think they've been like restructured, reorganized. They're not the Cerberus we know. So I think this is something else. Don't forget the small group of Cerberus in Mass Effect Andromeda. Yes, but they were basically non-existent. And not terribly interesting. I vote Janna from the little snippet with the Illusive Man in Mass Effect 3 for new leader of Cerberus. I think it's just going to be Miranda or someone, honestly. That would be, you know, way too easy, but also fitting. It's going to be the Rachni and their balls. No, not the Rachni. It's the Leviathan, man. Don't get it wrong. They did that hint that Cerberus would return, though. Tim said even without them, it still grows more heads. True octopus with no friends. God, that's a sad nickname, man. Why are you called octopus with no friends? God damn it, bro. You got us. Come on, man. So it's not true. But yeah, they could definitely return. I mean, it's Cerberus. It's an idea. You can't kill an idea. He did say that. Tommy, oh, so many not members. Let me fix that. And there he goes. This guy named Tommy Farini here again. I'm just going to make your name bigger because you earned that. Biggest Chad. We have 50 new members. Thank you so much to Tommy Farini again. Absolute Spectre. Here we go. W's for Tommy here. Thank you so much again. I don't really know what to say again, man. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you. It's crazy. You're crazy generous. Appreciate it. Much, much love to you. I don't know. I love the concept of massive civil war in the galaxy. Makes some really interesting things happen with old characters if it's only a few years after the Reaper War. So yeah, that's the thing, right? So galactic civil war, and by that I mean like civil war between various factions, not like, oh, you know, everybody's fighting against everybody, but they're fighting specifically with somebody that they're supposed to be civil with, right? So Krogan, maybe Krogan Solarian, maybe Turian versus humans, maybe Geth versus Quarians, and there are these schisms happening, and because somebody is setting fire to like situations, they're opening old wounds, yada yada yada. I think that makes like that could be like just a really good story, you know, going around like trying to fight these fires and just making sure that the galaxy doesn't embroil into big ass war that everybody's just starting to fight everybody. And so I think it's mostly going to be like around that because to, you know, lead into something else later on. Because that is also, like, again, a very important thing. Resetting the galaxy, resetting the conflict, because having us, you know, if we put it like this, if you start the game immediately having to do with Andromeda and a conflict with the Kett, you are essentially already giving away the entire plot, right? It's like, oh, we gotta defeat the Kett, that's it, right? Again, it's not super mysterious, it's not super interesting, so why not start with a reset, deal with intergalactic politic and, you know, stuff like that we did in the first Mass Effect, set everything up again, lead into Andromeda at the end, so you're like, oh, it's a bigger picture thing. Now I see, right? Because, again, you're giving away the plot point by just going, oh, it's just the Kett. Woo! You know, we need something that is more... I think people miss the mystery, right? You want that mystery, you want that build-up, you want that investment to where you're theorizing and you're coming up with like, oh, okay, what does this mean, blah, 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 blah. I think they need that back. If they're going to add the Angar in the next game, they need to flesh out the story instead of the face value conversations we got in Andromeda. Oh, man. The Angara, man. Angara. I gotta look them up. Wait, what just happened? Did he just go and gift again? God damn it, Tommy. How dare you? Tommy Farini on YouTube here again. He just gifted away 50 memberships again. So we now have 3 times 50 gifted. So again, welcome everybody to the Ensven Squad. Enjoy the emojis. Remember to use the emojis. Thank you, Tommy, so much. You absolute spectre. And from Twitch, Angry Wolves, nice job, Tommy. Yes, you're even getting love from Twitch. Awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah, the Angara, just as much as the Kett, was one of those things that I was like, I did love. I did not love these guys. I think their design could have been very different. Jaal is pretty cool, I gotta admit, this guy, but the rest of them, if I'm still alive, but you will be, Chuckle. Well, what are you talking about? By the time Mass Effect comes out, this is probably my last ride for Mass Effect Andromeda. Might is already my last Mass Effect game was a disappointment. Sorry to hear that, man, but you will definitely be around for the next game. It's not that long. Let's be frank here. It's not going to be that long. Maybe a couple of years, maybe 3, maybe 4. I know that sounds crazy long, but still, like, in the span of, you know, Exodus, The Expanse. Guys, we're gonna be feasting throughout these years. Don't worry about it. There's a bunch of other cool RPGs while we wait. Yeah, the Ingaran design is meh. Very true. I think so. Yeah. They were kind of a snooze fest. Dirty Dan, yes. Tommy is amazing. You deserve a sushi on the Citadel. He definitely does. Absolutely. We should buy him sushi. Citadel sushi. Yeah, Mass Effect will come out on time at some point. Well, on time, I would... in time, I would say. Elder Scrolls is another story. I think Elder Scrolls is probably further away. I'm gonna be real. I don't think Elder Scrolls is that close at all. Mass Effect is probably closer. For some, like, we haven't seen anything of Elder Scrolls. So, yeah. Irashimase, you're right. Yes, that is what he keeps saying. What does that mean? Irashimase. Irashaimase. Okay, welcome to my shop or restaurant. Come in. Irashaima. I want to go to Japan someday, so it's very important for me to get this right. Why would I say that, though? Just arrive at the airport being like, Irashaimase. Welcome to my restaurant. I will be 70 next year. Holy shit, Angry Wolves. I would say happy birthday in advance. But yeah, I'll say that to you when you're actually 70. That's huge. That is huge. Again, congrats in advance. It's crazy to see people that are over like the age of 50 watch my channel. It's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. It's like, oh damn, we got some veteran gamers out here, man. Mr. Holton in Japan, all your restaurants belong to me. Yes. All your sushi restaurants. Let's go. Welcome here to the store, my wife says. Oh, so she translated for you. That's very nice. Thank you, Mr. Enrico Jetstream's wife. TS6 is going to be released in 2050. Trust me, I know Lord Todd personally. Fallout fans, it is 2031 at best. BG needs to update the game with ladders and add RTX to creation engine. Something along those lines. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think, honestly, because it seems like it seems like Todd Howard and Bethesda, they like refuse to go like change from the creation engine. So I would say that it's probably more of an uphill battle for them because Starfield was probably not that big of a success. So if you look at it and you compare it, I think the Mass Effect team somehow is in a better position. I just think it is what it is. And I'd love for us to rebuild our own Reaper and travel around the galaxy with it. Oh, baby. That would be huge. But that ain't happening, bro. But, having a pet Reaper would be pretty badass. I don't know what my fascination with the Reapers is, really. Like, I gotta talk about this for a moment. I just remember uploading that clip of the Reaper sounds back in like 2012. For any OG people who have been there from the start when I actually just uploaded that sound clip or that sound bite, thank you for being here. I don't know if anybody actually is. But honestly, that is something I've never really understood. Like, why do I think they're so cool? Can somebody explain that? Do we have any like psychologists in chat here? Like, what is the reason why I think these guys are so cool? Like, they're one of the most memorable villains to me. Maybe it's the Sovereign conversation that did it. Maybe that's why. 1 out of 1,000 scale Reaper flying around zapping people with low voltage beams. That would be amazing, Exot. That would be so cool. I don't know why, though. Wolfie, big, beefy robots, I guess. Maybe. You know, I love Godzilla, too, and kaiju movies, so maybe that has something to do with it. I just love giant things. Attack on Titan is pretty cool, too. I don't know, I kind of dropped that show, though, but generally speaking, I really love, like, big, titanic things. There's something about kaiju stuff, man. It's a fascination with godlike entities interacting with mere mortals. Probably something like that, Silent. And in combination with like the Lovecraftian element of it, right? So if you're not you know, familiar with the concept, Lovecraftian is of course like a word derived from H.P. Lovecraft. That was a renowned author back in the day, and he wrote some pretty scary shit, like this unknowable like aspect of horror where it's so incomprehensible that you go insane from trying to imagine it. And the most classical example is of course Cthulhu. I was obsessed with this shit when I was a teenager. Like I thought about this all the time. And you know, you can imagine that's not very healthy for a growing mind, like stuff like this, right? But I do remember being like super fascinated with it, and it's like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if these things existed? That's probably AI generated, but still pretty cool. I don't know why. And then, you know, when you put this two and two together, you have the Reapers that are like obviously inspired by it. I think that's probably it. Massive things, yes, Tommy. Like just big things. And when I mean big, I mean like kilometer-sized things. Giants. Ever heard of Siren Head? Yes, I did. You guys want to know a cool story? I actually talked about this like a few years ago. The first like actual recognition this channel got was because Jacksepticeye reacted to my upload of the Reaper sound effects. So he had that in his Siren Head video. So this, let's see, Jacksepticeye Siren Head. Yeah, this video. This was the video where he reacts to it and he pulls it up, and it's just really cool. So I don't know. I just remember seeing a bunch of people like chatting on my YouTube channel. That's kind of when I was like, oh, maybe this is, you know, maybe it's time to talk about Mass Effect. That was pretty cool. You should look at movies like The Abyss or play Still Wakes the Deep. I think you might like that stuff if you're really into the Reapers. Still Wake the... I think I know kind of what that is. Maybe not really. I remember being scared by that 10 years ago. Yeah, this thing was pretty creepy. Walking through the forest just, you know, with a siren. It's yeah. Holy shit, really? Yes, it was kind of cool. Sean, the guy himself, Jacksepticeye. Yeah, that was pretty huge. He didn't really like react to my content because it like was just Reaper sounds, but it was still pretty cool. That was the, you know, hidden Mr. Holton lore right there. Jacksepticeye reacting to one of my videos. That was cool. If you love Lovecraftian stuff, Control is waiting for you. Ah, right. Yes, I think I actually bought Control, didn't I? Yeah, I actually have Control Ultimate Edition right here. So I bought it. I just haven't played it yet. So it's on my to-do list. I have it. Are you playing Dispatch? I want to play Dispatch and I would love to play it for you guys, but that live stream would probably crash and burn because that is not the audience I have cultivated on YouTube. So that would have to be like a big ask from the community being like, come on, play Dispatch, man. I would love to, trust me. But I gotta think smart about this YouTube thing, unfortunately. Imagine if we are the villain. I mean, the teaser from TJ 2020 has a different character in the background with armor and all. The one with the coat is different and seems to be wearing only that. Yeah, maybe. I don't think we are playing the villain. I don't think... maybe if you want to roleplay as a villain, maybe you could technically, sort of like in Baldur's Gate 3 with the Dark Urge. Maybe. I don't know, maybe. It's an RPG. I'd be down to watching it. That's cool to know. Thank you for telling me. Maybe I could upload something to Patreon if you guys would be like interested in that. Maybe over there. I don't really know, but maybe that could work. We were actually thinking about playing it, me and Linnea, and uploading it on the other channel. So maybe on Made My Girlfriend Play, that channel. You guys remember that? Kevin with the 65 Swedish crowns. Thank you, man. Have a beer on me. Skål. Skål, man. Thank you so much. Skål. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. How about a poll? We can do a poll, but I'm guessing that most people are probably going to say no. Okay. Dispatch live stream. Yes or no? I'm assuming most of you are here because of Mass Effect, so I'm going to assume no. But let's try it anyway. Let's try it anyway. Siren Head is my favorite monster, not because it's massive, but because it blades a warning to its victims that it's on its way using something that's supposed to keep you safe. Yeah, that is terrifying. Absolutely. That is very scary. I like that element too. Is the truth that the main villains in ME5 are the Mass Effect Illuminati, Mr. Holt and Kala and Paragon 7? We are creating too many theory videos. We are destroying the next game. That is why we are the main villains, the Illuminati. Hey, speaking of the Illuminati, maybe that is a villain we're actually gonna fight in the next game. Something like that. Not specifically that like that, but that work the same way. You know, this hidden league of shady individuals. Maybe. G Viking, welcome to the Ensvin squad. Thank you so much for the support. Welcome, welcome. His evil laugh, though? Who? What? Not mine. I don't do an evil laugh. What's happening? Well, that's actually pretty interesting. We got 56 votes saying, half of them saying, well, more than half of them saying yes. So 62% of you would watch a Dispatch live stream. That's about like 30 people, maybe, give or take, on the channel. Still not enough. Not a Dragon Age crossover? No, this is probably not happening. Do an evil laugh? I can't do that, man. Muhahaha. What is Dispatch? Dispatch is a game where you do a lot of choices. You play as a guy who is played by the actor who plays Jesse in Breaking Bad. And you get to pick between one superhero girl and another superhero girl. So essentially it's like a dating sim, but also like a choice game. So, and it apparently has a really good story. It could be one of the Game of the Years or Game of the Year nominated. And again, it's played by this guy. Aaron Paul right there. And yeah, you date superheroes, kind of. Wasn't that what Mr. Critical is playing? Apparently it is, yeah. I haven't seen anything from it because I don't want to spoil myself, but it looks pretty cool. Yeah, I could play that. I could definitely play that. But again, there needs to be a big ask, otherwise it's gonna, you know, ruin the channel analytics. Swedish laughs though. I know, right? But I don't know. What do we usually laugh like? I never thought about it. Yeah, it's more of a TV show, but with some small choices. Aren't they big choices, though, from what I've heard? I don't know. I'm not going to ask, really, because I don't want to be spoiled again. Sonar, voiced by Moist Critical. Yeah, he voiced somebody too. As you mentioned, Sonar. I don't know who that is. They're from ex-Telltale makers, I believe. Yeah, maybe it would be a good idea then, because I guess that you guys were fans of like The Walking Dead and the Wolf, not the Wolf of Wall Street. What's it called? The Wolf Among Us. So maybe if you guys are interested, maybe. Furthermore, the Reapers kind of stagnate in technology. You can actually get better tech than they have if you're not culled. Very true. Yes, the only reason the Galaxy in Mass Effect hasn't like proceeded to like interdimensional stuff and things like that is because, of course, you know, when you're just using the Reaper tech, you're just stagnating, technologically speaking. In ME5, Gamble said that we're going to have romance options. Are we going to be able to romance a Leviathan? Good question. Maybe. I was not expecting that question. I thought you were serious for a moment. It's like, what? Of course you're gonna romance a Leviathan, man. They also need some love. But where are you gonna stick it? I shouldn't say that. We're on YouTube. Give you a mental image right there. What's your favorite Mass Effect race and why? What is my favorite? What is my favorite? I don't favoritize like that, really. Like, I think most of them are just really cool. I don't really have a favorite. I don't think. Let's look here. Asari, Drell, Elcor, Hanar, Human, Keeper, Salarian, Turian, Volus, Batarian, Geth, Corian, Krogan, Vorcha, Leviathan, Reaper, Yogg, Rachni, Prothean, Ket, and Angar. Definitely not these two. Did I just disappear? Oh my god, what happened? Oh. I think I would have to say Asari. Geth. And Quarian. Quarian specifically because of Tali. Asari specifically because of Liara and because they're pretty hot. And Geth because they're the best. I just like them, man. Probably because of Legion. Yeah, it's because of Legion. Because Legion, the thing is, right, I love true AI. I really love this idea of true artificial intelligence that is truly intelligent, like a Geth or like ED or like the Reapers, like actually intelligent life forms that are machines. Terminator, for example. Like, I love this kind of stuff where they're actually super intelligent, they are conscious, and Legion, I think, is interesting because he is truly the first benevolent AI, aside from EDI, that you talk and engage with. He's the first alien synthetic, the first alien AI, the truly alien first thing that you actually talk to that is a good individual. So I think I find Legion so interesting because I brought him on so many, pretty much, I think I did an entire playthrough. I've done several playthroughs where I just basically prioritize on bringing Legion because his context to certain situations, they flesh out and make things so much more interesting when you have him along. Because it's like people are instantly hostile towards Legion because he's a Geth. He is supposed to be a bad like thing. And people are like immediately scared and reacting to him. And he's like, yeah, okay, guys, I'm just, hello. You know, I'm just a little guy. So I would say, based on the characters, I would say it's like Geth through Legion, Liara, Asari, and Tali, the Quarians. I bet Javik had fun with many Quarians. Javik, I'd say that I love Javik. I think is really cool, but I don't, because we don't really engage with the Prothean species as a whole other than him. So, you know, you don't really know, aside from them being very like, them being like galactic conquerors, you don't really know that much about them. So I would mostly say the other ones. Does this unit have a soul? Yes, exactly. That is why Legion is possibly one of my top 3 favorite characters. He's just that interesting to me. I just find him very interesting. Vetra and Drac are the only 2 characters that I wish I could bring over from Andromeda. Kind of, yeah, Vetra and Drac are completely fine as characters. Vetra is just literally female Garrus. Javik has the hardest line about honor. Yeah, I know, right? That one is so good. Let me see if I can re-say it. I would have to look that up. But before looking it up, I'm just going to try to remember it. Stand in the ashes of 1 trillion dead souls and ask them if honor matters. The silence is your answer. How close was I? I think it was pretty close. Javik quote. Did I get it right? Stand in the ashes of 1 trillion dead souls and ask if the ghost if honor matters. The silence is your answer. Yeah, kind of. Almost. I missed the ghosts part. Yeah, I missed the ghost part. But you know, I almost got it. Pretty proud of myself. Right on the money. Almost, man. That does prove I am kind of a Mass Effect fan. Maybe there's another secret bunker full of Protheans. I would not hate that, to be completely honest with you. Anyway, guys, I'm going to take off for today. I got to rest my voice and I got to sleep tight because there are things happening tomorrow that I got to do. Got to be up early. Thank you guys for being here as always. Thank you for checking out the stream. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the gifted memberships, for especially from Tommy Farini, you absolute madman. Spectre, huge. Even the thing is still going here up here to the right. Thank you so much, guys. Much love to you. I will be out with the next video sometime next week, so you probably don't have to wait too long. We are gonna start ramping up for Exodus, so I want you guys to, if you're interested in Exodus, keep an eye out on the channel because we will start doing more live streams about Exodus. More lore videos are coming. And I'm going to try to release them episodically leading into, you know, because we are going to see Exodus at the Game Awards. So hopefully something cool comes there. But yeah, if you're wondering what the plans are for now, Mass Effect 3 video, bunch of lore videos and stuff like that. So take care, guys. Take care on Twitch as well. Thank you so much for being here. As always, Mr. Alton signing off. Again, thank you so much. Bye-bye.